Okay, is this working? So clearly I'm streaming, I just don't yet know the link to my stream. So in theory, it should be here. Let's just move that off screen. Okay, is this working? Okay, just a little sound check for myself. So clearly I'm streaming, I just don't yet know the link to my stream. So in theory, it should be here. Let's just move that off screen. Okay, is this working? Okay. Working, I'm just sharing the link now on Twitter. Join here. Okie dokie, so today we shall briefly, let's check how much time I've got. We'll be doing some code cleanup of whatever catches my eye in NativeScript Core, probably gestures, event handling and that kind of thing. I've got about 2 hours here, minus fitting some lunch in, but I just want to start streaming now so I can catch people generally in the San Francisco time zone, because I don't have great overlap, but yeah, America is a pretty good audience for tech streams, so I thought I'd give it a go. Okie dokie, so let's just get OBS up on my other screen to check that this is all working. Okay, yeah, my mouse is working. You can see everything. So, ultimately what I'm working towards is refactoring observable. Observable is here, which is very reminiscent of event target, the DOM API. Where is it? So you'll see, for example, it has an add event listener, it's got remove event listener, but it's also got like off and on and all sorts of things, sort of inspired by event emitter from Node.js. And it's also got weird things like the fact that you can add and remove multiple event names at once. So we want to, I think maybe that'll be the target for today. Remove support for adding multiple event names at once. So just see, you can see my workflow for doing that. Let's make this wrap. So let's check we are on the right remote. Let's close the other project. Okay, branch it off. So I've got a few other PRs actually in progress. Why can't I extend how much title we see? That's a bit annoying. Okay, I'd like to widen that column if I could. So a few other PRs in progress right now, and that's because the approach I'm taking is I'm doing lots of micro PRs that are super easy to review, because I'm really touching some critical stuff at the bottom of the framework here, and I want to make it very easy for people to take a look at the functionality and say, oh yeah, that's a no-brainer, let's merge that. So I'm keeping them small and inching forward just bit by bit with each PR we make. So we're doing a bit of cleanup of gesture observers and make them consistent with regular event handlers, and I'll take a bit of explaining, but let's not get into that now. So let's make a branch called remove multiple event name. We could deprecate multiple event name handling, whatever. The name matters not. So for starters, we'll take all of these signatures, let's say event names string, and I'm just going to select all, rename them to event name, and that's a pretty handy way of, you can see in red now, everything that was taking plural events is now highlighted for us. So we're just going to, well, we could do a select all on each of these, but I think we might as well just visit each of them in turn and get our head in the game. So this on method and the off method, each of these forward through to the main implementation, which is add event listener. What we're going to do is, well, actually, it's probably worth just bringing everything into sync. So there's places where this is called event instead of event name. Let's sort that out. Event name, name of event, and we'll standardize. So instead of supporting comma separated event names, we're now going to support just one event. So we're going to update the documentation here. Anything above this? Cool. This all looks fine as is. So I've got the event name of the event attached to. So far so good. Let's update that. Okay, event name, like that. No longer comma delimited. Event name's no longer a string. And we can remove this for loop now, because we know we're only accepting an event name as is. So that's pretty liberating. Save that, it auto prettifies. The continuing of the for loop becomes a breakout early. Event names is now just event name and name of the event attached to. Got that. Save that out. Event name goes here, and we unroll that for loop into a single iteration. Return early. Okie dokie. Event name, good. Let's just check that we did that. Okie dokie. In a remove event listener, this is fine, this only handles one event at a time. Okay, so standardizing this, event names, now we come to event name. Oh, that's a point, I've been missing this. Event names must be a string. So we now only support one event name. So I've just multi-selected that everywhere. We'll delete this for loop because we're only dealing with one event name at a time now. Event name, and we'll do the same thing over here. Delete that. Okay. So far so good. Event class goes through to event name, that's fine. The event name is here. None of these are plural events. There we go, that's one. So this is useful knowledge. Who's calling emit? Because that's ostensibly private, but it's used everywhere. Just check that none of these are being used in a plural fashion. It does seem though that each of these consumers are only using one event at a time. So we're safe. Okie dokie. Cool. Alright, well that is observable handled. So now we can go up to the next level, which is view common. So view common is the other main user of event handlers, and that extends from observable. So do we have an event names? I don't recognize this. Oh dear. Maybe this is something else. State event names. I think this is something different. Pseudo classes. I think this is something totally different. Yes. Focus and blur. Oh right, no, these aren't events. These are CSS pseudo class states like focus and whatnot. Huh. That's not in use. So there's all sorts of things to clean up. There's lots of low-hanging fruit. Let's just scroll from top to bottom. Let's see if anything catches our eye. Observe is related to add event listener. That's effectively the specialized event listener for gesture events. Let's see. So this is actually a method I came and cleaned in one of my other branches. So that we're back to supporting just arg string here. Observe. Interesting. So we've removed support for multiple events here already in a previous PR. That's very good news. So we just need to check inside observe and see if we did the same already. Yes. So observe, however, does support multiple event handlers at once, it would seem, because it takes an enum of gesture types, and so for each combination gesture you register an equivalent type for it. So this is going to take some thought. Okay, who's using this? Oh, there's only one consumer. That's a surprise. I swear I saw quite a few earlier. That's good news. Someone else is using get gesture observers. So this is a little confusing because I've got no evidence of multiple events being used for gestures, but I'm pretty sure they're used somewhere for them because that's their reason for being. That's irrelevant. Okay. Right, we'll look for all occurrences of this enum. So gesture events are handled, so instead of having a string event name. Right. I've been below. Right, that's fine. My video's been below everything. That was not intended. Ah well. Nobody in the stream yet, so no harm done. Okay. So gesture types, who is using these? It's going to be everywhere. Oh boy. So is anyone taking intersections of these? Or is that the right word? Union? Yeah, is anyone taking unions of these anywhere in Core? Oh, did we get that? I hope we got that in the other PR, I think we did. Gesture types. So far so good. This is view common. Yeah, we've had a lot of looking around inside view common. This is part of how the multiple gestures, the plural gestures are handled. Type. Okay. But this is fine. Everything inside here is innocent. What we need to look for is the consumers of this stuff. Aha! Right, so I'm just going to mark this so I can find it again. So that's going to show up in my... if I ever need to find that again, I can just look in my Git manager. I can see there's an XXX there, so I can jump back to it. So this is certainly one file to be looking inside, and here's another. Save that. That's these two, isn't it? Okay. Interesting. I wonder if that's a bug. Because that's not looking for whether the long press binary bit is within the type. That's looking for an exact match. So, well, maybe. I hope that's not a problem. Okay, cool. So the only usages are within these two files. Let's focus on iOS because I have a better understanding of that platform. So where's my thing? There. Okay. Let's just check on Twitter and see if anyone's aware of the stream. Alas, nobody's seen it. Okie dokie. So. Attach takes supports plural gestures. Let's call them plural gestures. Attach. Therefore, observe. Supports plural gestures because of the things downstream of it. Attach does too. That's going to haunt me. Let's go back up where we were and just do that. Okay, detach. So how does detach work? Does that care about? Oh boy, what is this? Recognizes. What is name? Is this? Oh, okay, I think I have an idea of what it is. That should not be any type, that's not helping. Native type should be a... Oh, I see, it's any type because it's it may differ between Android and iOS, that's very inconvenient. Okay. But is this even part of the... If that's the case, we could actually add typings to this. So UI tap gesture recognizer extends UI gesture recognizer, UI. Yes, that's the same. It's the same inheritance. I think the commonality there then is we can take a UI gesture recognizer or null. Type of. Type of. That should make it easy to navigate. Okie dokie. So where was that used? Cool. So now I can see a bit more clearly that type doesn't refer to event name, but instead refers to the UIKit class for the recognizer. So that was a red herring. And then the recognizer cache, that name, what does that name mean? Okay, yes, so this is the event name, just your name. Let gesture name, got that. So So now we no longer have a name key. Swipe direction is going to be, oh, so the actual value of, so that's going to come up with 1, 2, 4, and 8. Swipe direction is, e.g. swipe 1 or something. Double check that. We should be really wrapping those words. If, oh, it's a const enum. I'm just going to have to figure this out in the TypeScript playground, how this actually behaves. Oh no, it's declared as well. I do think it's going to be the number. Okay, so swipe 1, for example. Okay. That could be cleaned up. Gesture. So recognizers are keyed on gesture name. The gesture name is not plural, but it can be outside of normal enum. That's very confusing. Gesture name. Seriously, it doesn't have a key. Okay, let's just see other usages of this. So that's saying each item is a recognizer cache. Private read-only is going to be gesture name for starters. It's going to be a string to recognize a cache. And we can simplify that by doing that. Okay. Which means we don't even need this constructor. Okay. I don't think we need that there. Because the oh right, yes we do. It's abstract, so we do need to implement it, even if it's not. Okay. So they take the lazy route to clear that off. We could probably just delete all the keys in it. List of online recognizers, name, delete that. Okay, so we've avoided a allocation there, which is pretty good. That check is not needed. And we can simplify this. If you don't have this target, don't have this, let me just bail out early. Actually, that could be simplified even further. If you don't have a native view protected, there's nothing to be done. That seems incorrect, actually. We don't need this. Right, just your name. Okay. I think that would be a better approach. Yes, that's clean. It's actually irrelevant to what we were working on, but sometimes you don't really know until you've cleaned it up what the purpose of it is and whether it is relevant. There's other things we could clean up around here, but I'm trying to stay focused because it is an endless barrel. Just your name. Hey. Just remind myself. So that's a potentially plural gesture name. Okay. So we can clarify that as a plural gesture. And then in that for loop we're doing for, okay, find their user space. Where was it? Plural gesture name. I don't have Discord. Okay. Just summoning Discord friends in case they want to watch. I actually need the address to the stream. Safari. Okay, have summoned the gang. Okay, right, where were we? So we've established that plural gestures are a thing that get used, and in recognizes cache we have in the recognizes cache we store not the gesture name like tap, but the plural gesture name like tap, double tap, because all your recognizers are based on combinations of events that you're interested in. So native view add gesture recognizer. Okay, that's a standard iOS UIKit method. That could be cleaned up. Got a viewer. Welcome along. So we're currently trying to remove support for plural event listeners in NativeScript, which is the concept of when you do add event listener, you can specify multiple event names at once. So you can comma delimit them. You can say, I'd like to listen to tap and double tap with this same callback. And it's probably the case that we do need to support that, but I'm wondering if this merits splitting add event listener into one place and add gesture observer into another. Hello, Mr. Nove, or Nove. Mr. Birch indeed. So I'm just familiarizing myself with how gestures are handled before I kind of come up with a solution. Type. So where's our attach and detach? Attach. It's probably relevant. Stop type. It would probably help if we wrote that in there. If type, grab all of those, change that to plural type. Why does this detach? That's another thing to look into. Fix for me. Is this needed? Got another viewer, welcome along. So I'm currently working on removing support for plural gestures. That's to say, when you or removing support for plural event listeners, so the ability to listen to two event names at once with the same callback. Seeing if there's any better way we could achieve that than making add event listener have weird non-standard behavior. And so I'm starting by getting familiar with how gestures are handled in NativeScript. So, and a lot of that involves just dancing around the code base, cleaning things up until I start to understand how it all works. So type equals whatever. Where's the actual original declaration of that type thing? Because I'd like to rename it. Oh, I thought I saw a little heart there. I wonder who's dropped in. Let's see. So these plural types, I'm going to call this, actually is type is used all over the shop. So I wonder if it's safe to change this from type to plural type. It's quite possible people in userland are making use of that, but maybe not. If I did call that plural type, that might be too likely to break things, so I could just turn that into a getter. Okay, so if we have a private underline plural type for now, public get type, and that's going to return. That's going to return just this dot plural type, and that allows us to help me get my bearings about which types are plural and which aren't, and yet not make any breaking changes for consumers. Okay, save that up. This, oh, that's a surprise. It's read only. Yeah, it should have been read only in the first place. Well, that's handy. Okay. Goody. Go over to Android, which is broken as a result. Change that to plural type. Nope. Yeah. Copy that. Bang. This type everywhere. Okay, I think we got them. And to be honest, it would be nice to bail out early here. Return there. Return there. Oh. Okay. That's funny, we don't even use the arguments. What's the point in that? Okay. Let's sort of clean that up. Do the same here. Okay. So attach where you declared that can now be plural type. All of these become plural type. Type is now plural type. Okay, up we go. I wonder what's the issue there. Was this referring to a type? Ah, no. Okay, I get it. Plural type. Plural type. Okie, plural type. Welcome along. I see some new viewers. So this may start to get increasingly annoying for people who've been here the whole time, but NativeScript supports the ability to add multiple event listeners, add multiple callbacks to listen to a plurality of events. So you can listen to tap, double tap, and click all at the same time. And it's actually only really needed for gesture handling. So I'm trying to find a way to clean all that up so that our regular event handlers, like the press handler for press events, don't have to have support for multiple gesture-related events and maybe move gestures into their own events handling system. That's independent. Okay, we've got type. So we made some progress here. Hold up. That can be a plural type, and then this type type becomes plural type. And this toString type becomes plural type. Okay. One thing at a time, one battle at a time. There's lots and lots of things to clean up here. Okay, so it's becoming increasingly clear what's a type and what's a plural type. This is very much true. It should be a plural type, but that's a bug we've always had. So going into observe, that should be a plural type, I would think. Refactor rename symbol to plural type. Okay, we're getting there. Which means this needs to change as well. Nope. What's the hotkey for this? Rename symbol to F2. Does this work? Yes. Okay. So this should really be just a plural gesture type, and then that goes there. And then equally in the remove event listener, we're going to have the same. So you get renamed, so that's F2, boink, plural gesture type. Okay. Some water. Any other usages of type that we're... There's another one here. F2, plural type. Okay. Type. Gesture types. Sometimes what I like to do is change from record of whatever to a map, just so I can give a name to plural gesture type. I can give a name to the string. So that's going to be typed as gesture types, and then it's going to return array of gesture observer. Come on, that's right? What have I got wrong? Is it just... no. Oh, right. No, this isn't the declaration. Hold up. Move that there equals that, and we're good to go. Can you not? That's why I chose it. I've been through this before. You can't use an index signature based on this. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, dear. You can do it in mapped types. Does that work? Number. Just checking if mapped types work here. Just types. No. Okay, back to what it was. Okay. So, folks in the chat, what are we all up to today? What's everyone working on? Gesture types. Hey, it's nice to hear from you, Brian Nelson. Curious how you found this. I don't recognize your name from Twitter. I'm wondering if you found this on the open YouTube or Discord or Twitter. Okie doke. So at this point, I'm getting a bit lost, and I think it's a good sign that I should rebase onto the other PR I did that helped clean up some of the things that are making me quite lost. Hey, Nathan! 3JS implementation. Cool. I thought it was mostly OC who moonlighted on the 3JS stuff. So are you working on the library level stuff or on userland? Are you making use of 3JS and userland, or are you fixing some bugs in the library? Let's make a work in progress commit for now. There's actually quite a few things in here, not all of them. Let's make a proper commit. Yuengling. Okay. Nice to see you using OC's Canvas plugin. Yeah, I've not had a chance to use it myself, but it's always very exciting to see the possibilities with it. Okay, so I should probably make an independent commit for observable. So let's do it first. Chore in core, where we just clarify drop support for plural events. That's totally fine, Brian. Like, I think with NativeScript Core, there's actually quite a lot of low-hanging fruit where there's some stuff that doesn't really need expertise of how a platform works or how a framework works. There's actually many cases where we've just written some bad TypeScript because this is an ancient code base that 7 years old, and it's existed since TypeScript version 1 or something, and there's a lot of things that can be better expressed nowadays, and things like just for example, I came in here before and it was showing if this target, then we do all of this stuff. We can flatten this out by bailing out of that branch earlier, just by doing the opposite condition and returning early there. So I think there's a lot of value that one could bring contributing here and there in NativeScript without real any expertise of how the framework works. There's just so much to clean up. It's quite therapeutic. It's quite fun. I think a lot of our things worth cleaning come out of we're not in strict mode, and because it'd be an absolutely massive task to move over to strict mode. But I'm sort of thinking if we started adding TS configs on a folder by folder basis, just saying this folder is in strict mode, a lot of silly mistakes might start popping up and becoming more obvious, and those would be very high value ones to fix up. So we've done that first commit there. Dun, 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 dun. So most of my changes here are just distinguishing types from plural types. Let's get rid of that. I'm in two minds about. So the one bad thing about changing this kind of if target to an early return is it does make a very hard to read diff. I'm trying to make these as easy as possible to review, so I'm actually going to revert that for now, as that's sort of out of scope for this PR. Just make it as easy as possible to review. So look at that. Refresh. Oh, it doesn't get that much easier to read. What's going on? Is it just not refreshing properly? Oh, sorry, that's Android. Yeah, so now, on the iOS side, just discard that line. That's a super easy to read diff as a result. Nathan chiming in here. Lots of TS cases to resolve and clean up in core. Good cases for generics, and would be good to clean up the iOS and Android getters. Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what a good solution is. I think that is a massive point of value. We've got a lot of iOS any. Maybe this isn't the right file. Android.ts. Well, let's just grab a random one. Android any. There should be an example around. Observable, no. View based, no. What's a good one? Page / index.ios.ts. There must be one hiding. That's strange. We've normally got loads of iOS any's. Yeah, they're everywhere. So, for example, in our DTS file, we've got these iOS any's everywhere because that DTS file has to be the intersection of Android and iOS, and it gets really, I sort of wonder if we could change that to UI button, what would actually be the consequences of that? Because I'm pretty sure if TypeScript is relying on unresolvable types, so for example, if you haven't imported types iOS and you just wrote UI button in there, I'm pretty sure it resolves to any. But maybe that's if you've got skip libcheck on. It's really TypeScript is. Sometimes the behaviors are a bit unintuitive, and this is one of those areas. Hey, it's OC. Nice to have you along. Yeah. It's just catching up on Brian. On chat. So Brian's saying, I've been pushing my code to be pretty strict, but I've never worked professionally in the industry. Is it better to write code with looser settings or keep them tight? Keep them tight, please. Please. There are a lot of... I think any new project should use strict mode. And the only reason we're not using strict mode for type checking in NativeScript yet is because it would take a very long time to track down all the non-strict the differences that have fallen out of non-strictness. So it's always much better to begin perfect than to reach perfection later, and it will get you into good practices. It'll be frustrating at first. You see a lot more red line, but it gets you into good habits so that this could, when I'm getting this, when I'm pulling this, the value corresponding to this key out of an object, it could be undefined. The key could not exist, or I could overflow an array and the index due to using the wrong index. So yeah, strict mode is an awesome help. OC asking, where's the Android implementation? What are you referring to, OC? Because I'm jumping around all over the place. I've been working on gestures Android. Gesture /Android. It's around. I would click the heart button, but my OBS interface is getting in the way. Oh, I can't respond with hearts. How does this work? Heart. It doesn't have the heart emote. How does YouTube Live? Oh right, you can use standard emotes. There we go. Fold that down. Okay. I see. Nathan's more in the loose camp, as they say. What is it? Loose lips cost lives. There was some old saying or something. But yeah, okay. Where was I? So I was trying to commit some of these and then rebase. So I'm mostly just oh yeah. So I was going to go to index Android, and I had an early return. Search for all returns. That's it. That was easy. Grab that. So we're actually going to undo this just to make a prettier diff for now. Make this easy for everyone. That was good. That's kind of irrelevant, but that's just in the area. Okay. Let's do Core. Indicate all plural gesture types. Okay, track all of that. Throw it on the pile. Let's just see whether main has advanced since we began work. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is the Jamie special. I rebase all the time. And we have the perfect branch to rebase onto, which solves one of the areas I was getting lost on. Is it this or is it that? Gesture observers are the same, isn't it? We might just take both. Yeah, let's imagine a perfect world in which both of these have got merged already. It's going to be weird. Okay, try to follow this. So, I'm rebasing my two commits on top of that branch. There's going to be... Actually, let's abort that. Let's cherry pick this first. Let's see if either of these kind of work without... No, that doesn't work either. Okay, abort. So, rebase onto, which one would I rather rebase onto? I'm going to ultimately rebase onto both. So what was the problem I was trying to solve? It's going to be in view common. I want that to only accept string. So I want this PR. Okay, so we rebase onto this. And we resolve the conflicts, which should be pretty elementary. Ah, yes, I remember. So, this on the bottom, this is the incoming change. I want to rename all of these things to plural type, but above we sort of change the way we do things. So as I know that what I'm aiming for is just to rename all of those to plural type, I'm gonna accept what was originally there, so from the previous PR, and I'm just going to rename that to plural type. Actually, yeah, let's do the F2. Plural type, and then that resolves the merge conflict. So now we are on a superior branch, and while we're here I might as well cherry pick that other branch, see what's involved in reconciling that. So I go into view common, And I know what I was doing was I was just renaming them plural type. So let's accept so incoming is the thing I'm cherry picking, right? Handle just reserve is the same as event listeners. Yeah. So we'll take incoming and then we'll rename type to plural type. But we can't do that until we resolve all of these. Incoming. Oh right, it conflicts with the other thing we just based onto. Hold on, I'm gonna have to use my head for this. Okay. Accept the incoming change. Hold up. Yes, we do want the incoming. Rename that to plural type. Okay. Next up, we actually want the current change because we want only strings. Oh no, we want a hybrid of both. Event names goes in here. Accept the incoming change. Oh no. Oh, I'm lost. We want the bottom one. Very lost. It'd be nice to get my stuff merged in rather than thinking this, figuring all this out. Callback. Why is that called gesture? Change. Observers. We want this, but we rename it to plural type. Yes. Okay. All right. Cherry pick successful, I think. Now push this somewhere so that if there's a lightning strike, it's not lost. Now ideally, the next step would I'm actually going to do another rebase because I want that commit to be here in the history. I want my new work on this branch to be up here, and I want this stuff thing. Oh, but have I gone and ruined it already? I think I'm fine. So just sort out that rebase. No, I'm very lost, so turn this back to the word type and later on, oh jeez. Well, the history is going to be very pretty after all this, but until then. Current current. No. Yes, this is tricky. Let's abort. Okay. The order, it does not matter. We'll figure it out later. Okay, just checking in on chat. Okay. I'll just check on my timings because I know I gotta dash off in a bit. Probably got another 30 minutes. Ish. Maybe let's just get through one more step and then call it quits. So, word wrap. So we've got plural type. Let's just so gesture from string. That's a big problem, isn't it? Because if you try doing add event listener, it's gonna end up as yes. Who's using from string? Because this is lossy. This turns plural events into singular events, and that's definitely a bug. That's only used in view common. But it is a public function, so people may be using it in plugins, and that is so annoying. You just can't predict whether it's a breaking change or not. We shouldn't even need to trim here anyway. So we got from string. Really, that should be in. It feels like this should. Yes, this really should have been splitting all along. And no. Because it creates a plural gesture. So the actual string name representing. Hang on. Yeah, this is so dumb. If you do try passing a plural gesture into this thing, and it tries to stringify it, oh. How do enums work? The weirdest thing. Let's just check this out in Playground. Playground. Oh, we've been trying this out before already. Alright, so we've got our gesture types. What happens if you index into gesture types with an unrecognized gesture event name? Where's my trim? Come on. Wait, what? Can you even index into it with a... What happens if you index into it with a string? So like... Hello. Okay, so... using a non-member string, what's going to happen? Then index in using a member number, and then index in using a member string tap. Right. Where's the run button? There we are. Okay, it does this weird reverse mapping thing. That's the thing about enums. Okay. So let's just write down those indicative cases. So if type is a member, e.g. type, returns equivalent number 1. Nice, it just fits. Type is a non-member string, e.g. X returns undefined. And we don't need to think about types being numbers, but type is somehow member number, e.g. just e.g. 1 returns type. Okay, that should help me get my bearings. So the logic I used there is correct. I don't need to go and fix that in the PR I've got open. It's equivalent to before. Let's check in on chat. So Brian saying, I love writing code, but there's a lot of fundamentals that I just don't have because I'm 100% self-taught. Learning from YouTube and GitHub. Okay. I have no idea where to start as far as working with NX or dealing with GitHub. Okay, I don't need a lot of hand-holding, just someone to spend an hour here and there pointing out what's obvious to everyone else. Everyone was beginning at once. Yep, totally agree. Enum, font awesome, regular solid brands, type FA equals for fast fab. Okie dokie. Yeah, so well done for being 100% self-taught. I think it's very admirable, and yeah, I don't know what to call this development. Do I call it full stack? Do I call it client side or back end? Well, it's definitely not back end, but certainly software development, people tend to take many different paths to get where they get to. My career, at least for my first job, I spent over 6 years basically without supervision. I had next to zero code review, and although I got to learn on the job, so it's not just in spare time I was learning. I was self-directed, and I think that does make it's a double-ended sword, actually. It makes you very good at finding your own answers for things. You adopt the best practices that you're aware of. But unfortunately, something I found in later years where I started getting my code reviewed, especially by people who were really, really good at coding, was some of the best practices are not the most fun, interesting and attractive things to master. Certainly, a classic one is Git history cleanup. Very important in industry, but for your own hobby projects, it's as... This is quite distracted because the stream delay is showing stuff from ages ago. I don't know what's going on. Oh right, it's because I'm not viewing it live. Okay, cool. That was very, very distracting. Yeah. I think also full stack or web dev is becoming increasingly insanely hard. The actual payload of what you want to write is hidden behind layers and layers and layers of frameworks, which are very often black boxy, and there's absolutely no shame in not understanding how it works. Like, even I, as a experienced dev, I spend a lot of my time fighting with, I know how I do this from the ground up, but I do not know how this framework is expecting me to do this thing with URL params or whatever it may be. And I guess that's one of my attractions to NativeScript, is there is a path to sort of bring your own stack, like assemble the tools you're comfortable with to build the app the way you want to. I think we've got a long way to go on that, but we are far more open in terms of bringing your own tools than other frameworks. Just catching up on chat. Okay. Yes, if you know the Commodore 64 and Turbo Pascal and C++, okie dokie. Pretty seasoned then. Yeah, I can... Introducing my dad to TypeScript when he'd studied electronics, and most of the stuff he'd ever done was really low level stuff with C and stuff. TypeScript is a culture shock. There's whether you go in strict mode or not, just the dynamism or dynamicness of JavaScript is so much that even with TypeScript trying to tame it, seeing this red line all the time and not understanding things like this is not an accepted index signature or whatever, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas in C, the rules are maybe a bit clearer. Like once you've learned something, you've kind of learned it. C++ is a massive language, of course, and depending on which standard you go for, it can be an absolute rabbit hole. But C is quite nice and small in terms of low-level languages. Same here, I fell in love with NativeScript. Yes, that's what we're here for. Oh, I dare say I'm running out of time to actually get to a point of conclusion on the feature. I'm trying to think what I should have for lunch with the time I've got available to me. To be honest, I think I'd better be packing up at this point. Yes. Alright, well, thanks everyone for coming along. I might hop onto the NativeScript Discord voice chat if I've got like random minutes spare. I don't know if I've got like 10 minutes now, but yeah, I think for now I've got to wrap up the stream and get moving, have my lunch, and then head off to central Tokyo. Alrighty, thanks folks for coming along and watching. It's been a pleasure. I hope to do this more around similar times. When the mood takes me. Alright, cheers and see you next time. Once I find the stop streaming button. Where is this thing? Okay. Your stream will stop and you will no longer be live.